dogs around swimming pools, and some people are like, that's a good thing, and some people are like, that's a bad thing. So we're going to dive into that.
The instinct they have when they're not familiar with the pool.
So is there an ideal temperature for dogs to swim in?
What I could find, and I don't know how accurate this is coming from...
Just a side note, is there a particular type of pool that's not good for dogs swimming in?
Yeah. What I was thinking in my head, it was like I've seen... because I've dealt with so many dogs, like trying to teach them how to swim.
So you have that even though your dogs are good swimmers.
What we're going to be talking about, it's all going to kind of range depending on what kind of dog you have.
Afternoon, this is Mike Farley, Poolside Perspective Podcast, and we just looking forward to talking to y'all about some fun stuff again today.
Oh yeah, we have a very interesting topic today, that's for sure.
Well, it comes close to the heart.
It does, yes. Which, I mean, great transition. So we had our first Thanksgiving, and this I think airs right after Thanksgiving as well. Very family-oriented podcast here.
Yeah. We do Thanksgiving different than everybody else does. So for everybody to get together, because there's so much family in our family, we usually do something different on Christmas and Thanksgiving. So we had ours already on Saturday.
Yeah.
And it was fun to get everybody together, but we still didn't get everybody together.
We didn't. Amanda my fiance was out of town. She's in New York. She actually just got back today. So, which is cool. I get to see her. But yeah, she was in New York seeing her best friend's baby's christening. So yeah, she's real quick weekend trip, and now she gets to have Thanksgiving with part of the family, but the other part's gonna be out of town. That's just how things happen sometimes. So
Anyway, but part of our family is we have a bunch of four-legged children.
Yeah,
and that's not the toddlers that are crawling on the floor.
No, we have a bunch of white golden retrievers, English cream golden retrievers, which my mom, my dad, Mike Farley and Laura Farley, amazing parents and role models growing up. I didn't have any brothers. I only have two sisters, so I had, a white furry brother named Cody growing up, little golden retriever, and
he was not little.
He was not little. He's a big guy. But that's what the podcast is about. It's about how you can integrate pool design and all kinds of concepts with pools with dogs.
Several people have been asking recently, and Laura, who's the one that's in charge mostly of the breeding of the dogs, was like, you ought to have an episode just on dogs. And
yeah,
they're like,
if you're wondering, Farley Golden's on Instagram. Just a shameless plug for you.
So. And we're going through 15 puppies right now, although they'll be gone shortly. So they'll all have happy homes for Christmas, which is, we usually have them born around Christmas time,
yeah.
But this time they're actually, anyway, that we don't need to get into that. But
no.
So dogs around swimming pools, and some people are like, that's a good thing, and some people are like, that's a bad thing. So we're going to dive into that. We're not going to get much into dock diving. That's a dog thing, but we're going to get into a lot of other things and talking about the pros and the cons, and just look at different things you may want to consider. And so where do you want to start?
I think the best way to start would be like the pros for, swimming pools in general when it comes to, involving your dog. A huge one is going to be physical health, the benefits of swimming for dogs. That's huge.
Sure. It's just like human beings.
Yep.
You can get aerobic exercise. One of the things I ran across is they said for a minute of swimming for a dog is like 4 minutes of running at the dog park.
Yeah.
So, you have to be careful not to overdo it.
Yes.
In these aspects, but it can be really good. And especially dogs that are having problems with joints and mobility is, just like a swimming pool for me after, before hip surgery it was great because there was no pain with the joints.
Yeah. Low impact exercise is crucial. Like you said, it's just for humans, it is the same way with dogs. I think also it's a full body workout, which goes underrated because when I'm working out and I try to work out till failure, I'll jump into the pool and swim as much as I can because then I can ensure that I'm going to failure, obviously. But then also weight management is great for dogs in swimming pools because they can lose weight easier. Obviously, the high impact of walking a dog, if maybe your dog's getting up in age and the joints are a little more brittle, so you don't want to wear them down quicker. You just put them in the pool.
One thing too is a lot of times in the summer you walk a dog on asphalt. It's hot.
It is, yeah.
I mean, and so there's recommendations that you shouldn't even be taking a dog out to walk in the summer. And so one of the nice things is your pool is cooler and it's not going to burn their feet.
Yeah, and a lot of people sometimes get busy at night, whether it be dealing with the kids, making sure they settle down or whatever it might be. So they might not have time to even walk the dog at night or in the morning. So, the swimming pool might be a perfect resolution for that.
Yeah, night swim with the dog.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or during the day, because I think it's like 10 to 30 minutes is the ideal time for a dog to swim. You don't want to over exhaust them. But, I mean, a pool is a great place for people to refresh, to cool down during a sunny day as well.
So is there an ideal temperature for dogs to swim in?
So what I could find, and I don't know how accurate this is coming from a couple different articles. It says 75 degrees to 85 degrees is ideal, or 70 to 80. It kind of varies depending on the article. A lot of them say it depends on the species of dog or the type.
The breed.
Yeah, the breed. Because like some dogs with like very heavier coats, some dogs even have 2 coats. Swimming isn't even recommended because it'll sink into their second coat or just more easily drown because of how dense their coats are in the water, making it heavier for them. And then also smaller dogs too. They have similar issues where it's their body type.
Certainly.
Let's go to the next one, which is mental and emotional benefits. Just like humans, dogs do get stressed out. Dogs will have like certain behaviors that indicates they're stressed out, just like humans do. And some people think it's just like, oh, my dog's sick or whatever it might be. It just might be stressed because they, like, for instance, Hunter, one of my good friends, he's not at home a lot. So his dogs will pretty much get like anxiety because their owner isn't home type deal. A lot of dogs have that. So yeah, relaxation is key, to de-stress the dog out. And also it can enhance the bond of the dog and the owner, which is really cool because you're playing with the dog in the pool. It's not typically, go do laps in the pool,
Right.
You're throwing the ball or something.
Well, you and Cody used to have a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
Trey would go running for the pool and dive into the pool, and he had to stay underwater and not surface right away because Cody was falling immediately behind him and would land on his back if he came up too quick. So
yeah, dog nails are very, once they scratch you, it leaves a scratch, so it's not very comfy.
Right. So
not the best feeling.
But that wasn't his intent to harm you. It's just his intent to have fun with you in the pool.
Yeah. So maybe wearing goggles would be ideal if you do that. I didn't really wear goggles much, and sometimes when I tried to, when I'm running full speed and diving into the pool, I mean, the goggles would come off. So being able to see where the feet are is key in that situation.
One of the things I did run across, which just a side note, is there a particular type of pool that's not good for dog swimming in? And the vinyl liner came up because of the dog's feet.
Oh, okay.
So the concern was that they would scratch the vinyl liner and poke holes in it. And most vinyl liner pools have a staircase to get in and out.
Okay.
And so the challenge is if the dog didn't use the stairs, then they're clawing against the side walls of the pool and causing it to have leaks and fails. So fiberglass and gunite pools have stairs built into them, so not as big a deal for getting in and out. But
what do you mean by staircase?
Like a ladder.
Oh, okay, a ladder. Okay, because I was thinking steps
over.
in my head, like just like a plaster or a gunite pool would have.
No.
So, okay, so more like the old style, just a ladder to get out of the pool.
Right. So
okay, interesting.
Anyway, a lot of above ground pools, that's where your vinyl's not as heavy a gauge as well. So anyway, just that's not as conducive for dog swimming as the others are.
No, that's a great topic too. The entrance points for dogs, it's key for them to know that, because what I was thinking in my head, it was like I've seen Because I've dealt with so many dogs, like trying to teach them how to swim just because I love dogs and I've been around pools my whole life. But the instinct they have when they're not familiar with the pool, and I've seen this like with Boba and Mando, they're great swimmers, but they're used to your pool. So when I take them to like Amanda's pool, my fiance's mom's pool, the entries are different. So they tend to like try to like claw their way out of it, getting onto the coping, which can injure them because they're scratching themselves and they're also scratching the surface.
So the first thing that's really good for a dog is to take them into a pool and show them where the steps are from an entry standpoint. So take them in and out so they're familiar with it several times, and then they're comfortable with that pool and the surroundings with that. And you know, if there's a shallow tanning ledge, that's really great for them to get in and out of because it's a big space. You know, one of the ideals is a true beach entry. Because with a beach entry, you know, a lot of times people are like, well, I'm worried that it's going to be too deep for my dog because I got a little dog. And so I want him to be able to get in the water, but not too deep. And so a beach entry is really nice because it's a gradual slope into the space. And so the dog can stop where he's comfortable and everything on that individual space. And it's easy for him to get up and down. But if you show the dogs where the entry points are, that's the most important thing when a dog is using the pool for the first time.
Yeah, and that brings up a great point. So when you think of like designing your pool or crafting the pool you want in your backyard, ideally, this what we're going to be talking about. It's all going to kind of range depending on what kind of dog you have. Like for instance, a little dog. So some people might think, oh, a beach entry would be great. But it depends on what level that table's off at, you know, because maybe there's a small dog that walks into it because it's shallow, but eventually it'll get too deep for that dog.
Yeah, most beach entries, the top step's going to range literally from water being, you know, fingernail depth to, you know, you're going to end up with 6 inches on the edge of the step.
Yeah.
And so if your dog can safely walk around in 6 inches, then the beach would be fine. And that's what most tanning ledges are from a depth standpoint, is 6 inches as well. Now there's also what's called a Baja shelf, which is done real popular in California, which is typically deeper. So that may not work well for, you know,
some species,
some
breeds,
dogs, you know, in particular breeds. But, you know, the other thing that's nice is to have an exit point in multiple locations, not just the one, because if they swim down to the other end of the pool and there's not a place for them to get in and out, again, it's a little, you know, stressing to the animal. So a lot of times when I do benches as exit points, also I put what's called a step out on the corner of it. So it would help a dog, even a medium-sized dog, to transition in and out because a bench is down 2 feet.
Yeah.
You know, so that's pretty deep depth for most breeds.
Yeah.
But if you have benches in multiple locations, then it gives them more places to be comfortable getting in and out. But along with that, you know, you've got the entry steps. You know, there's some other things you may want to consider if you're designing a pool from scratch that you may want to have. An example, which we're going to dive into more about cleanliness, but 2 things that you may want to specify is a bigger filter, and we'll get into why in a little bit. But then the other thing that you may want to consider is using UV as a sanitizer, because UV is the only thing that'll work on crypto, and also works on Giardia, which are 2 things that, you know, it would be helpful with dogs. But we'll get into that sanitation stuff a little bit later.
Yeah, I think the interesting point was, that is all interesting. But for the step outs, those are typically what, like a half step because for like space wise, or is it just a full like step?
It's usually about a, you know, 18-inch by 18-inch space.
Okay. So depending on like what kind of dog you had, maybe it was a really big dog, you might make that even a little wider, like the same length or not the same width of a step.
Yeah.
Or a bench.
We were last time we talked about alpha, but this is bigger than what you had last time. So what's
Correct.
Is this still a pizza oven, or what is it?
This is a pizza oven. It's a larger footprint. Why would I want a pizza oven with a larger footprint? This is a Moderno. It's a 2 pizza. If I wanted to do some calzones and maybe some single pizzas, I can do it very, very quickly. This oven, it has a gas burner. It's appropriated to the left side, and what happens is when we turn on this burner, it takes about only this oven 15 to 18 minutes to preheat up to about 750, 800 degrees. I have customers that come in and say, listen, I love the ease, convenience of gas, but I want some flavor. Can I buy a wood kit or a hybrid kit? Yes. So what you do when you buy the hybrid kit, there is a cover that covers the burner. Then you put the wood grate in there, you put your staves in here and put your starter underneath it, and then it takes about 18 to 20 minutes. After you get the heat where you need to be, then you'll move the product over and then brush it off and then put your pizzas in. So you can do wood with this.
Awesome.
And people out there that are customers that love Green Bay Packers, this is Packer Yellow. So
that works for Charlie Claffey,
yeah, absolutely.
But the rest of us that don't like the Green Bay Packers, especially after last year, does it come in a different color?
You can get it in silver, like Dallas Cowboys. But other than that, let's not talk about that. But yeah, it comes in different colors. It comes in a red. This particular model actually comes in a red and a yellow. And then you have the other different ovens that have silver black and more gray tones.
So one thing Trey asked a minute ago, and he's not asking now, but so this vent, if it's necessary, can it be raised up higher?
It can be raised. It can double its size, but if you need a custom pipe, we always recommend the professionals. One that we use in Dallas and Fort Worth is VentTech. Yeah. VentTech can run that. It'll be a double insulated pipe if it runs through the ceiling, and then they would do what we call a weather guard and wind cap. So.
Right. Awesome.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
The breed has a lot to do with what you're going to do and what you're not going to do. And there's a lot of different characteristics to think about with that we were talking about earlier. The one that I'm always familiar with is the amount of muscle mass that the breed has. And because of that, if they don't have a lot of fat on them, and they're just pure muscle, they sink.
Yes, they do. Like a boxer, for instance.
Yeah, boxer is not a dog that does well. So one of the first pools that I built was for a family in McKinney. And this family, they built a new high school, McKinney North, and McKinney North's mascot was the Bulldogs.
Oh, yeah.
And so they had a bulldog, and he went to all the football games and he went to the basketball games. And I mean, he was a very integral part of the first several years of McKinney North being open as their mascot. And I said, you need to be really careful about him with the swimming pool.
Oh, yeah.
Because they will sink. And so they were out in the pool one night and the dog walked by. And when he walked by, he cut the corner on the spa and he just fell on his back into the spa. And they said he sunk like a rock to the bottom of the spa. And his 4 feet were sticking up in the air. And they ran over there and they reached down the bottom of the spa and lifted him up. And he came up and all sputtering and, kind of gasping and everything. And they said that dog would not go anywhere near the pool the rest of his life. But he did get a long life because they were there and they were able to save him. But one of the things I was reading is that there's over 5,000 dog deaths a year to drowning, and a lot of it has to do with the breed.
Yeah, I imagine like a high percentage would be just the breed in general that can't swim.
Right.
I can name off a couple that struggle with swimming.
There were several characteristics you might just
so flat face breeds. This in particular it's hard for them to breathe while they're swimming because of like their head. Can't get their nose out of the water. So bulldogs, pugs, Shih Tzus, they all struggle with breathing difficulties in the water. Also short-legged breeds like Basset Hounds, Corgis,
Dachshunds.
Dachshunds. Heavy coated breeds, which we touched on a little bit, was Chow Chows, Akitas, and I might be mispronouncing
Akita.
some of this. Akitas, yes, Akita. That makes more sense. Like the power tool. Yeah, so it absorbs water easily, so it just makes it harder to swim. Imagining swimming with like a weight vest on, pretty much.
Right.
That'd be tough. That's like Navy SEAL stuff. Lean breeds is what you just touched on, like greyhounds, whippets, boxers. Just the lack of body fat. It's just, they're not as buoyant.
Correct. We have golden retrievers.
Great dogs. They have web feet.
They're retrieving ducks and waterfowl is what they were originally bred for, so that they love water. And actually, they don't mind cold water. In fact, Princess, when we first built our pool, every single morning she would go out and stand on the tanning ledge and get a drink.
Yeah.
Didn't matter if she had water in the bowl in the house. She just felt like she needed to go out and get a drink out of the pool. So it was just hilarious. There could be ice on the pool, and she'd want to go get a drink of water out of the pool. Now, that does bring up something that some people are like, well, dogs drinking pool water is a bad thing.
It can be, depending on the pool chemistry itself.
Sure.
So, do you want me to go ahead or you? For instance, like my initial thought was saltwater pools, because I know salt water is not good to drink in general. It's not drinking water. But then you brought up the great point, chlorine as well. Depending on how much chlorine you have in the pool,
right?
The chemistry of it itself could be toxic, and having high chemicals in the pool is not ideal for dogs in general. But with our situation, we have probably 6 dogs that go into that pool.
Yes.
And they all probably drink a little bit of that water. So is that the end of the world?
So what we have on our particular pool, it's not a high chlorine situation.
No.
It's not salt either. We're using ozone and minerals, so our chlorine level's slightly higher than tap water. So, I mean, if we took a bowl of water out of the house, it's not much different than the water that's in the pool.
Yeah, and that's actually encouraged. Like on a lot of these articles, they say to have like a designated drinking area, because a lot of pools aren't going to have the water makeup that we do.
Right.
But yeah, so there's like, you could have a little water fountain for dogs, a little water bowl outside, just to get them used to not drinking the pool water. And we'll talk about a lot more health issues with the dogs. I think we should touch on the features, because we've gone through a couple of them, like the shallow ledges, the beach entry. Non-slip surfaces are great though, because the amount of times the dogs aren't like kids where you can just teach them, hey, calm down, don't run around the pool, know.
All they do is run.
Yeah, they run constantly. So non-slip surfaces are awesome, because maybe that bulldog was on a surface that was a little slippery, which I'm sure it was.
It was patterned concrete, and it had a sealer on it. So those are a little slicker than some of the things we recommend. One of the things that's a really good surface for dogs around pools is synthetic grass.
Yes, it's amazing.
Yeah, so that's something that has great traction on it. They really enjoy using that space. It's now, depending on the length of your grass, some of them are easier to clean up if an accident takes place on the grass. So the shorter turf works well for that.
I feel like 5 years ago, people would be like, you're going to put turf right next to the pool? That's just weird. You need some kind of decking area. And what if I want to have, table and chairs out there or whatever it might be? But the turf is so great because, like you said, it's easy to clean up. And if you think it's not, you can get a sprinkler system installed, which will regulate it just like a sprinkler system to come on and clean the grass, or even turn it on. If the turf is too hot because it's in the middle of August, you cool down the deck that way as well. But you can put chairs out there. People sit down on the turf by themselves. Like, who cares? Like a yoga mat almost. So
it's a great surface around a pool.
Yeah, it's awesome. And then built-in ramps and floating platforms. I don't know about this one, ideally. Ramps are great, so they don't have to jump down, because my dog loves to bolt out the door and jump down the staircase, and it scares me every time. But floating platforms would be cool, like little floating steps in the water. I could see a dog jump from one to the other.
So is that related to like dock diving?
Yeah, you could do dock diving. So and we could talk about that because that's going to dive into the maintenance side a little bit that we touched on. So there's a lot of videos on Instagram where you see golden retrievers or labs or whatever it is actually just jumping into the ocean or the lake off of a dock, which is so cool to see. And you could actually create a designated space where you have, just like you would like for a diving board or a diving rock, you have a platform where the dog gets to jump into the pool.
If you are competing in dock diving, I looked this up so I could share.
Perfect.
The American Kennel Club, your dock has to be at least 40 feet long by 7.5 feet wide.
That's a lot of space to run.
But, well, they get going.
Yeah.
So, and then the pool has to be at least 41 feet long by 21 feet wide.
Oh my God, they're clearing 41 feet?
Well, no, you don't want them to.
Well, I know they're not clearing it, but they're getting close to that.
Yeah,
because you had the 41s. They made a max for a reason, right? So
right.
It's around probably 38 or something.
So anyway, and there's two different skills if your dog is going dock diving. One is for distance.
Yeah.
But the other one's the air retrieve, where they hang something up there and they have to grab it when they're in the air and take it down. Yeah. So anyway, but yes, this is not going to be working with your typical swimming pool because you probably don't have a dock that's that long or a pool that's that big. I mean, that's a big pool. But like Trey said, they're mostly diving into lakes and things like that. But
to be fair, though, they do run and jump off of that ledge. If you run first and jump in, they'll come after you.
I guess Cody did dock diving before there was a dock diving category by the American Kennel Association. So anyway, it's a fun place for them to go. We just want to make it safe for them to go in. You know, in some cases, people will just, you know, they have a breed that doesn't do real well in water, but they want them to enjoy the exercise or the cooling aspects. And so people can get dog life vests.
Yeah. Yeah. We got dog life vests.
Right. So you have that even though your dogs are good swimmers.
Yeah. Because for me, it's like my dogs will randomly jump in the pool. And if it's a summer day where I'm enjoying the pool, I might be doing something else randomly, dealing with like the equipment or helping someone, and I take my eyes off of them. So I just want to make sure that they're safe, and even if they get tired, they're able to float. That's the big thing. So
just like children,
yes,
being supervised, or maybe you aren't completely supervising, they have a life vest on to keep them safe.
Yeah, more layers of safety is a good thing.
Yes, 100%.
But with dock diving, I do think it'd be good to bring this up because blue algae pops up in lakes all the time, and blue algae, if you didn't know, is it's deadly to dogs if they eat it. And in pools, you can grow. And this I don't know how accurate this is on the article I read from, but I know you can, for a fact, you can grow algae in your pool. I've seen it. I've cleaned it. It's a pain. Yes. And you can get black algae as well.
Yellow and black are very common in swimming pools.
But they said they could get blue algae in there as well. Is that true? I don't know. But algae, chemical makeup of the pool, all that kind of stuff, you want to make sure it's taken out and regulated.
Yeah. So what you want to do is make it safe, the water quality for humans and dogs alike. Yeah. So if you keep your algae under control, then you're not going to have a problem with that aspect.
And you talked about the UV. Did you talk about the reasoning for like dogs, might be peeing in the pool and tracking dog feces into the pool on accident?
So one of the comments that I read in several different places is that the one dog swimming in a pool was the equivalent of 50 people swimming in your pool. So
that's a lot.
So one dog swimming is the equivalent of a massive pool party.
Yeah.
And so what has to be done after they swim, and some of the things you may want to have before they swim is something to consider from a standpoint. But as Trey brought up, your dogs don't have body control over things like humans do, although some small children don't have that either, and they'll pee in the pool.
Yeah.
Okay. But the other thing is they run around and a lot of their paws have hair in between them. And sometimes that will track and have dirt and sometimes even feces in that area. And so, you got to realize that, your dog is a dirty individual when he jumps in the pool. So one of the things that some people do is they have shower areas where they actually will rinse the dog off before it gets in. And then also after it gets out, post swimming, if you've got, higher chemical situation, they're going to rinse them off again to get the chemicals off the dog. So those are some things you can do to help keep the pool from being quite as dirty.
Yeah. A lot of people call them dog spas. The old apartment I was at had one, and it was great because the dog park would get really muddy often, and my dog doesn't care. He probably even loves it more when it's muddy, and so he would play in it all the time. So it's not, that purpose isn't just for like, oh, I need to wash off my dog before and after they get in the pool. But if the dog's dirty outside, it's kind of a hassle to go and get the hose and then turn the hose on. If you have a designated area, it's awesome. So
that is nice. So after they are in the pool, some dogs are real susceptible to ear infections. So like one of the things is we raised what we call an American Golden Retriever, which is the typical gold color.
Yeah, the red ones.
And some of them got ear infections and some of them didn't. But we had several that were really bad. And every time they'd get in the pool, we'd have to clean their ears afterwards and, dry it out. And then, that type of situation. With the white ones that we have now, I don't know if it's just the breed itself or if it's just circumstances, but we've never had an ear infection with any of them.
No.
With the pool.
We play it safe though. Sometimes if they're like swimming a bunch, we'll, do this same like routine we would to prevent, ear infections. But
so much, we have also at the back door, we have a towel rack.
Yes.
Which is dedicated to dog towels.
Yes.
Because they do seriously go in the pool multiple times a day.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's a full swim and sometimes it's just, hey, I'm going to go out here and stand out here and get a drink. But we have a bunch of towels there for that treatment in itself. So that amount of dogs being in a pool, there's several things you probably want to do to help with your pool maintenance.
Yeah, there's a lot of things you can do. And I mean, the first one might be getting some kind of gate. If you want to let out your dogs and you don't want them to get in the pool, because we don't have a gate, they can just go in whenever they want to.
Right.
So that is a factor. Just like if you're trying to protect your kids from getting in the pool, some kind of gate, maybe even a cover. And we'll get into more
and I've had
things.
Several clients that had a pool cover specifically for their dogs.
Okay.
From a safety standpoint. Now, I had one dog one time that the client's like, you got to see this. And this was back before cell phones had video cameras on and everything.
Yeah.
And I had one neighborhood that I put 26 pool covers in.
Oh,
mean, it was like everybody wanted to do something different. Anyway, they had a cover and theirs wore out quicker than anybody else's. And
what kind did they use?
I'm like, why is the cover wearing out? And they said, well, I think I know why. You need to come over to the house.
Oh.
The dog thought it was fun to run on the cover because it was kind of bouncing on the water type thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, this dog ran back and forth over and over the cover all day long. And he literally wore the fabric out on the cover.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, so.
Isn't that kind of dangerous?
No, the cover.
It's good for people to walk on?
Well, that's why they put covers on, is they will handle the weight of a human being.
Okay. So is that kind of cover? I wasn't sure what kind of cover it was. Okay.
Okay. Now, from a safety standpoint.
There's different types, yeah.
We did talk about that. So one of the worst things from a safety standpoint with a dog is a bubble cover.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And this is a cover that you put on in the spring and the fall to help keep the pool warmer.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that if you use that type of cover, you want to show the dog that if it steps on that, it's going to sink.
Yeah.
And so they understand that this is not a solid surface, because that's where a lot of dogs have died that I know of because they walk out on this because they think it's solid, and the cover, they sink and the cover wraps around them.
Yeah.
And so it's a, it's a tragic situation. But, one of the things is how do you get dogs used to things is you need to have the dog understand the environment that it's in, especially when you get a new puppy. Okay. So you want to take that puppy over, take the cover out there, show them the cover, show them that they step on it and they sink. Okay. So they understand that that's not a solid surface. The other thing is with puppies, a lot of times people are like, well, how do you get them used to being in the water? So a lot of times we start with just a kiddie pool.
Yeah. And
we put, just an inch or two of water in the pool. And sometimes this might be your bathtub or, so the dog learns to enjoy water. Some of the things that we do is we get these suction cup pads, and we'll put peanut butter on the side of them, and we'll stick that to the side of the bathtub, and they sit in there and they play and they lick the peanut butter and they think it's a good old time. That's one of their first experiences with water. Their first baths that we do with them is they have that. And then we have a little Walmart swimming pool that we put in the yard that, we'll put 4 inches or 6 inches of water in, have them get used to that. And then they graduate to the tanning ledge. So they get used to that. And then, a lot of times I know I've seen you just sitting out there, in the water and letting them come up and be comfortable, just coming into the pool and getting out and in and out and in and out. And eventually they come in and they go to a second step and they go out and swim and, come back.
Yeah.
You don't want to throw your dog in the pool to teach them how to swim.
No, yeah, it's like treating someone like a kid how to swim. You don't want to just throw them in right away. Well, some people might say that's a good way to do it.
My mother taught me to swim that way.
Yeah. It's not. I don't think it's ideal. I think that
it's not ideal, probably.
It scars them a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I was in the ocean too, so it was just like, oh, I can just stand up here and I'm fine. But your dog a lot of times can't stand up because the water's too deep. And so, it's better to start them in shallow water and get them gradually used to going out. But we were talking about cleaning the pool. And
that's good. This whole conversation is going to bounce around a little bit. It's just a lot of things are, they correlate with each other. So for pool maintenance for dog owners, managing dog hair is probably one of the biggest things.
Well, especially with golden retrievers, that golden glitter goes everywhere.
It does, yes. The nice golden flow. It flows right into the water. So the best way to get rid of that, especially when it's on top, is just using like a skimmer net. It just takes everything off the top. It's really easy to dump it and everything like that. Now a robotic cleaner, suction side pool cleaners, floor systems, they're all gonna help, but manually, like, getting the hair out of the system before it really goes into the system, I think is the best way to do it.
So you were talking about with the
skimmer socks.
Skimmer socks, yeah.
Yeah, so your pool might not have a leaf canister, but typically new pools are gonna have leaf canisters. It's pretty much a canister where debris is put into a pot before it goes into the pump. That way you can go in there just like a skimmer around the pool, pull it out and dump it into the trash. They have things called skimmer socks, and these can go on the baskets by your skimmer as well. But it's pretty much to prevent hair and fine debris from actually going through the skimmer basket and then getting into the pump. Because if you have, dog hair build up on your cartridges or in your filters, it can get really, really dirty quick.
So one thing that I heard too is that if you know that you're going to be dealing with a dog that's a swimmer, that you may just want to upsize the filter that you install on your pool while you're looking at the construction of it. So that might be something you want to check out too.
Yeah, giving a bigger filter and getting some UV going, that's a good idea for sure.
Are there things that you want to do chemically wise after the pool's been used by a dog?
Yeah, you want to balance the chemicals. You probably want to shock the pool as well, just because of the oil, not just like the hair, but the oils that are getting into the pool. Like you said before, what else they're tracking in on their bodies. Because yeah, it's you don't know if they peed in the pool, if they have feces in the pool, and yeah, limiting all that kind of stuff is best to do.
So just like if you had a big pool party,
Yeah,
the same maintenance that you would look like after that. Well, I think it's a great place to enjoy your family and friends, and that includes all your furry family as well.
Oh yeah,
And the outdoor space. They really, in some breeds especially, enjoy the space. But a lot of them still in the middle of the summer when it's hot, it's a great place to cool off, and they'll want to hang out with you and be with you as well.
yeah. Sorry for this interruption on the podcast, but we're going to do a design concept real quick. So we're talking about dogs, we're talking about pools. Is there a specific pool that comes to memory that maybe a homeowner designed it, trying to incorporate, you know, not just the family having fun, but the dog having fun as well?
There was a project that I did several years ago, and after we finished it, HGTV reached out to me.
That's cool.
And we're like, we'd like to feature 4 of your projects that we actually it was 5 of my projects that we saw on your social media platform. And I was like, oh, that's way cool. And they said, they gave me the list of them, and I checked with the homeowners, and the homeowners were all good. And so we went out and we filmed this one, and at the end of filming it, they were like, this was really a lot of fun because they incorporated their dogs into the whole thing. You know, most people have their kids swimming in the pool and stuff like that, but they had dogs, and their dogs weren't great swimmers. And so these dogs had life vests, and I had actually at that point had never seen a dog life vest. And so I thought it was quite a hoot that they actually had such a thing. Now we have a number of dog life vests at our house as well.
Oh yeah.
But one of the things that we designed on that particular pool was we designed a beach entry. And so it was a great place that they could transition down into the water and swim and have fun. The other thing is this pool was designed so there was shade always in the pool. So whether it was in the morning, there was a shade structure on that side of the pool that cast a shadow, over it. And then in the afternoon, there was a shade structure on the other side. And so one of the things that, with dogs that you have to be really careful about is if the water temperature gets higher and the air temperature is higher, they can, overexert themselves.
Yes.
And from there's several different things that, you have to be cautious with dogs about. And that's one of the things that you have to be cautious with. And so they had a really nice environment set up. They were also, set up safety situations with their dogs to make sure that they had fun. So at the end of the recording of all this, they came back and they said, well, we've decided that we're going to feature 3 of your projects of the 5. One we didn't record because some stuff came up. But the 5th one, they said, we're not going to show the project in its entirety, but we're going to feature those 2 dogs on a special video that's all about dogs and swimming pools. And so they ended up on a 5-minute clip on Ultimate Pools.
Oh, wow.
With the dogs. And then there's as they filmed through the summer, there were several other spots that people had their dogs as well. Everything from, I think there were Great Danes and, bulldogs and all kinds of different dogs hanging out in the water, mostly on the ledge. But anyway, that was a lot of fun. So
that's awesome. Well, let's get back to the episode. We went over unique pool design ideas. There was a couple that I didn't mention, which one I thought was really hilarious is an underwater window. So you could see your dog swimming. It's a, safety feature, and it's also really cool just to see the little dog paddle going on.
Yeah, well, that would be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah. It just adds a creative aesthetic. and functional element to the pool design, I think. But also eco-friendly designs. So where you use materials where it's merging landscaping stuff and especially like the materials you're using for landscaping. So like mulch and gravel, stuff that dogs might eat, which would hurt their digestive system or something like that. It's good to not use those items. Is there anything besides turf that is dog friendly? Because I know dogs just dig and dig and dig. So
I can't think of something off the top of my head, but one thing that I just did think about, there are some pools that they're swimming ponds.
Oh, okay.
That they're totally they're like a fish pond,
like a kiddie pool almost.
Oh no, these are regular size pools.
Okay, I got you.
But you were talking about the eco-friendly. They have their filtration system is a natural filtration system.
Yeah.
So it's 50% of the size of the pool has to be done in this natural stuff, but then you can have fish that can swim in it, and I'm sure it would be great for dogs too. So.
Is that the pools where it's like almost like, well, they're ponds, but they have like the river rocks and everything surrounding them, and the rocks kind of filter the water? Right.
Yeah, that's part of the eco system that's used. We'll have to get somebody.
Yeah, that's a whole nother topic we need to talk about.
Yeah, that's something. But I just thought about that because there was one of the things that showed a guy swimming underwater with the fish, but his dog would swim under the water too.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's a real cool thing that you can teach your dog how to dive as well.
Yeah. Another big thing is socialization opportunities. So like if you have your dog and you have a really nice setup, a lot of people don't like going to dog parks because you don't know if those random dogs are going to be aggressive or what kind of disease they might have. So if you have a friend that has a dog, you can bring them over and have them play in the pool, which is a great space. It depends on the dog, though, because I know with some dogs, they get very territorial. But if you have one that's not, it's very friendly, having a little dog pool party is awesome.
Well, we've done pool parties with litters.
Yes.
Like 6 months after they were all 6 months old, they came back for a pool party.
Yeah.
And it was really fun to have all the people that had a particular litter. So we've done that a number of times, and it's been fun.
Oh yeah, and they all love each other, all the brothers and sisters. To
get back together again.
Oh yeah, if you get a pool for a dog, or you're not going to get a pool for a dog, but if you're thinking about your dog, it also might, because a lot of people that buy pools, they look at them a lot, they don't really use them. So it might increase like the probability of you actually using your pool, because if you see your dog having fun in the pool and it's a nice day, well, you might not want to stay inside all day. You might want to go play with your dog. So that's a bonus.
Yeah, well, equal opportunity. Everybody gets to enjoy, have a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
So they had a doggone good time.
We did. There's a lot of information about dogs and swimming pools. It's crazy.
Well, it's just you want to create an environment that's safe for everybody. I mean, and our four-legged friends or four-legged children are real important that we create an environment that's fun for them as well as safe for them. So there's a lot of things to think about, just as you would any other pool design. As you're talking to a designer, if your dog is going to be an important part of this, you may want to bring up what kind of dog that you have and the size of the dog and the number of the dogs, so they can help design your project properly.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's always a good time when you're chilling at the pool and you look over and you see your dogs just chilling on a floaty, floating around the pool.
Sandy, our queen
yes.
of the pack at this point in time, has a floaty that she gets on, and she will not let anybody else on her floaty. It's her floaty.
Yes.
And she really enjoys floating around in the pool. She really enjoys swimming as well, but it's kind of fun to see the fun that they have and enjoy the space just like we do.
Yeah. Dogs are a man's best friend, so why not enjoy a pool with them?
Yeah. Well, if you come on over sometime, I'm sure you'll see lots of furry friends in our home. So from ours to yours, hope you have a great one, and we'll talk to you later.
have a good Thanksgiving, good year. And if you're listening to this later on, well, just have a good time.
Bye now.